Hey, hi dosto, welcome back to the Infra Code Lab. I'm Avinash and today we are going deep dive into the Linux environment, amazing world of the Linux. So whether you are the student or developer or a techie gadivana, so this is video for you only, and we will deep dive into the Linux, like what is the Linux, why we are using the Linux, what is the flavors of it, and all things we will understand into this video. So make sure subscribe the channel, like the video and share the video. So first of all we'll start with the Linux, like end to end तक हम start करेंगे from the Linux architecture to the Linux commands and administrator. We will deep dive and all things we will cover into this video. Maybe this series should be goes around I guess 2 or 3 videos more for the Linux, because we can't cover the all topics into the one video. So just be wait for the next video until watch the end this video, so you will get the grip and you will get the knowledge about all the things in the Linux. And next वीडियो का जो होगा वो हम कवर लाइक करेंगे, लाइक हाफ कवर करेंगे दिस सेशन एंड हाफ करेंगे द सेकंड सेशन. ओके, सो वीडियो तक ज़रूर बने रहना, लाइक एंड तक ज़रूर बने रहना, because we will also explore the command which will help in the DevOps, what is the main component of the Linux, and like Linux key history and Linux key distributions, or also we some members are calling the flavors as well. Now in the Linux some desktop GUIs like graphical user interface are coming, and we will see the real life Linux use case and many more things we will learn in this video. So make sure you are here and we will move into the another slide. So first of all we will start the Linux basic, and this series name should be the Linux basic from scratch to end, and it's a DevOps special batch. So we are going to, first of all we will go to the Linux, like what is the Linux and why we are using the Linux in our backend environment more than the Windows server or Windows OS. Okay, so first of all we will go with the what is the Linux. So Linux is the OS, like operating system, and it's open source. Like open source, it means you don't need to pay any fee or any premium or any license charge to use that OS or to use that services. So it's a based on Unix is the another OS where just like in Unix जो बेस है लिनक्स का, that is from the Unix one. So it acts like as a bridge between your hardware and software. So ये act करता है like bridge or intermediate between the your software and hardware. So it install on the kernel and shell, उसके बाद you can install any kind of the software on it. So that is the Linux, or that is the architecture of any OS. So kind of like a manager running in the whole system behind the scene. So best part is it's secure, it's a secure, fast and fast and customizable to your needs. So इसके लिए ज़्यादातर जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से उसमें लिनक्स यूज़ किया जाता है. सो हम मूव करेंगे हिस्ट्री ऑफ लिनक्स. सो हिस्ट्री के यहाँ पे अगर हम जाएंगे तो देखेंगे कि थोड़ा फ्लैशबैक में हम मूव करते हैं. स्टोरी शुरुआत होती है 1981 से. सो one student name is Linus Torvald. So this is the Linus Torvald actually. So he wanted to build a one free alternative to a Unix, because Unix जो है वो ओपन सोर्स नहीं था उस टाइम. यूनिक्स में थोड़ा अपन को जो है मेंबरशिप देनी पड़ती थी, और यू कैन से थोड़ा अपन को जो एक्स्ट्रा चार्ज है प्रीमियम मेंबरशिप का लाइसेंसेस का वो देना पड़ता था. सो लाइनस सपोज दैट कि अगर मैं कोई फ्री ओपन सोर्स बना पाऊँ बेस्ड ऑन द यूनिक्स, तो दैट शुड बी द बेटर फॉर द ऑल स्टडी केस. एक्चुअली जो लाइनस टॉरवर्ड है उन्होंने एक स्टडी केस के लिए जो लिनक्स है वो बनाया था. आई विल मूव इनटू दैट, नो वरीज. सो द थिंग इज लाइक, so he built a Linux kernel, and that is the heart of the system actually. Later he combined the it tools and from the JNU JNU, I'll tell you JNU what is that in the next few minutes. So he combined with the JNU and together and started one software called name as Linux. Okay, so JNU movement, I'll explain what happened with the JNU actually. As a Linux is open source, as all companies like IBM, Red Hat, and a few companies are in the market now as well. So they are making few changes into the Linux, and they are giving the license version or premium shift version to the all users. Like they are making some changes on it in the Linux, and they are giving into the market like as a premium softwares. They are charging some money from the users or money from the infrastructure industries. So the Linus came in the picture, and he made one Linux OS. Okay, so fun fact is like Linus जो है उन्होंने माइनक्स करके एक ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम बनाया था. सो उन्होंने जो ये थे प्रोफेसर थे एक्चुअली. सो उन्होंने लाइनस जो बनाया था एक्चुअली वो टीचिंग पर्पस के लिए बनाया था, नॉट फॉर दी एनी काइंड ऑफ दी रिवॉल्यूशन और लाइक दैट वे. तब जो था एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहा था, और ही एंडेड अप विद दिस स्टार्टिंग टेक. Okay, so student name is Linus Toro wanted to build a free alternative to Unix, so he built an Linux kernel actually, and that is called as a herd of the Linux. So later he combined with the tools and JUnit process. JUnit, so I'll tell you in the after a few minutes what is the JUnit and how what is the purpose of that JUnit they made. So they combine all together, and it will become a full software, or it will become a full OS kind of. Okay, so that is known as the Linux. So JNU is like a movement where the few companies are combined together and started their JNU to get a free software, because at that time few companies are making their own software and uh, charging heavily to the infrastructure industries or to the users. So that's why some few people or few companies are comes together, and that they form a one JNU movement, and they are supposed to get the all applications or software to all the users or all the infrastructure as a free and open source, you can say. So that time the Linus is one of them, or not one of them, you can say. He's like a professor of the university, and he wants to build a one like OS based on the Unix, and he made a Unix actually, not in Unix. He based a Linux actually, and he made a Linux actually, and Linux made. So he's the founder of the Unix, you can say. So we'll move to the Linux architecture. So as you know, the any kind of the OS will work on a few layers. So in the Linux we have a few layers that is comes with the first upon hardware, or it's called as a bare metal actually. So जो hardware होगा आपका, it comes with the deepest layer in the whole OS, and when after that you will get the kernel is like an intermediate between shell and hardware. Then above the kernel we have shell, उसके बाद आप applications or any applications or any softwares you can install on it. So this is the actually Linux of Linux architecture. So we have hardware layer. First upon we will describe only this. So hardware will consist of your CPU, RAM, hard drives. ये सब components जो है physically in build आते हैं. Like if you purchase any laptop or any CPU, it is there. And then above we have the one kernel. It manages memories, process, devices. Basically system का जो core controller है वो act करता है kernel. ओके, देयर आफ्टर वी हैव शेल. सो ये वो इंटरफेस है जहाँ आप कमांड्स लिखते हो द इन द टर्मिनल. सो इफ़ यू कम्स टू द विंडोज वी हैव वन CMD. So if you go to the CMD, then you will see it's like a command prompt where you can directly communicate with your kernel, not with any application and all things. You are directly connected with the kernel, and you are coordinating with the kernel only. So there comes the picture like shell जो है coordinate करता है kernel and shell. In the Linux we have the shell, and like in the Linux we have terminal, and in the Windows we have, right, yes, in the Windows we have CMD. Yes, so the last one is the application layer, where you are installing any kind of the application or any kind of the software on it. So just like you are using the Outlook or Teams you are using, or any kind of the games you are using, that is the application kind of, okay. So that is the, so we will move to the next topic, that is the Linux distributions of flavors. So we have few flavors and distributions in the market. Some are the free, some are the paid sources. So I'll go one by one. So Linux distributions, like it's also known as a distro. So Linux kernel plus set of tools plus customization is known as the Linux distribution. So there are multiple distributions in the market, like more than the 100 distributions. So हर एक का अपना अपना फ्लेवर है. So let's look at the some points. So Ubuntu is one of them. Ubuntu we are more using in the Linux, like in the environment, in the backend environment, in the infrastructure. And then we have the Fedora and Arch Linux. We have some another as well, like SUSE Linux we have. Then Amazon का जो आता है वो AMI as well, that is they have. So multiples we have. So when it comes to the desktop Linux, so we have few Linux in the market shares, like the top of Ubuntu is holding 40% shares in the whole market. Linux Mint is holding 30% market in the whole, like, share in the market. So Debian is one of them which is holding the 10% market. Fedora जो है 8% का cover कर रहा है, and Arch Linux have the 5%. and जो others हैं, like Managero, Pop and OS, Pop OS and Solus, that is like a 7% hold कर रहे हैं, okay. So we have few desktop versions, like graphical user interface they have Linux का. So the known few are, this is one, so you can go through it once. I'll share this PDF in our description. Why Linux so popular? So that is the main point actually. The Linux is literally everywhere because the web server and all things comes under the section. So Linux is literally everywhere because the in the backend, if you go in the backend, we have big infrastructure, and that is the need to work behind the scenes. because जो अगर कोई यूज़र साइट पे रीच कर रहा है, अदरवाइज कोई यूज़र्स कोई एप्लीकेशन यूज़ कर रहा है, तो दैट इज़ वर्किंग इन द बिहाइंड बैकएंड, like all the developments, all the CI/CD pipelines and all things will work on the back end. So वहाँ पे जो है हम max use करते हैं Linux environment, because that is open source and all things, and they are the most compatible with the backend tools. So that is the one reason कि हम Linux use करें. So the second thing, the supercomputers, because the supercomputers are directly interact with the shell. So that is the main purpose, like interacting with the shell, interact with the software. That is the two main different purposes. Like अगर मैं GUI की तरफ से जाऊँगा तो I'll feel some latency, but if I go to the directly continuous with the shell, that time I didn't feel any latency compared to the Linux actually, okay. So that is the second thing. And the third thing is Android phones, ये I guess ये गलती से आ गया, ignore it, that is fine. And the IoT device and even space missions में भी जो है हम Linux use करते हैं, because of I said that is latency and all things, the environment. And the second thing is this open source, okay. Open source तो है, इसकी वजह से ज़्यादातर use करते हैं. Why is it so loved? So as I can say, I already said that it is a open source and free to use, stable, and yeah, this is the main thing why we are using the Linux. So this is an stable and secure. Suppose अगर Windows and Linux के दो OS है, and if you are doing some penetrating over there, तब जो Linux का एक फाइल है, like if you penetrate in that file only corrupt, otherwise the all Linux will be secure because of the command line and interface of the Linux and all things. When it comes to the GUI, that is a Windows 1, अगर Windows में penetrating करेंगे तो that will corrupt your entire OS, not the entire not with the any particular file or all things. It will corrupt the entire OS. So that is the second purpose. And as you can, as I said, the high performance, because the latency and all things, you will goes as compared to the Windows, it will moves around the compatibility issue और performance issue. ये जो सब things जो है तो Linux को more secure और more powerful बनाती है. So that is, and the community support is incredible. Actually GNU है वो हर पल डेवलपमेंट कुछ ना कुछ तो करते रहते हैं in the Linux and all things. They are, that's the reason actually. So how we are starting the Unix, how we are starting using the Linux. So अगर आप Linux में ट्राई करना चाहते हो, they are the three simple इंस्टॉल करना चाहते हो, तो there are the three simple ways. Live USB, no install needed, you just plug in and play. Because जो है in earlier we have the one device, I don't know that name, but the device, if you connect to the your USB drive with the laptop and if you boot that with the that, then it will comes with the directly जो device में space है directly उसमें ही run करेगा your whole OS. Okay, so that you can use dual boot. Like अगर आप USB connect करते हैं and if you boot with the your USB and if you have that OS into the USB, that time you can boot directly your सिस्टम विद दैट OS. ओके, तो आप वैसे भी यूज़ कर सकते हो और बूटेबल डिवाइस से भी यूज़ कर सकते हो डायरेक्टली इंस्टॉल करके, एंड यू कैन डायरेक्ट आफ्टर दैट यू कैन रिमूव दैट USB. इट विल बी accessible for the all laptops. Okay, like all your laptop, all things in your laptop actually. And the third one is a virtual machine. So this is the mostly used environment in our infrastructure industry. So because the virtual machine, that we can run the Linux in your existing OS via VirtualBox or VMware. So ये जो है वो hosted type पे आते हैं. Like we have the two types of VMware. The first one is the like after installing in the bare metal, and the second is a hosted OS. So हम इस पे hosted OS like Windows पे हम ये दो application है VirtualBox और VMware, we can install on it and we can run. like हम जो partition बनाएंगे, like you can give the, if you have the like 1 TB SSD on your laptop, then you can give the 300 or 200 GB space on that Linux, and you can start one another machine on the your existing device. So that is the one mostly used. Some technical term and CMD के पास जो अभी जाने वाले हैं, like कैसे कैसे हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं और कैसे कैसे हम like कमांड्स यूज़ कर सकते हैं. व्हाट इज़ द बेसिक लिनक्स में मैंने एक इंस्टेंस भी रन करके रखा है, लाइक यू कैन सी हियर. सो वी विल स्टार्ट प्रेजेंटेशन और विल स्टार्ट all things to do here only. Okay, just hold on, let me refresh it. Yeah, Control L करके मैंने clear किया. So we'll start the commands, basic commands. First of all, Linux is designed as a multiple user operating system. So here we have two main type of the user. First one is a root user, that they have the full power, full admin access, full admin level control, and in the background, like in the backend, root user is the most powerful user in the all entire system, like it's an admin you can say. And the second one is a normal users. You can create a normal users in the Linux when if you are the root users, and if you have the access to create another user, then you can create a users and you can assign the policies, permissions to that user. Like if you want to create any directory, you can directly assign that permission. If you don't want to create any specific user, so just for the reading, then you can assign that policies or you can assign that permission to that particular user. So that is helpful. So let's look the Linux का file structure कैसा होता है. So /bin में जो है, you can see the all basic commands, like basic systems command. I'll tell you how we can. So if I'll click ./bin /bin, so ये जो है Linux कार्ड की architecture होता है. So in the bin you will see the all cat command, all basic commands. Then we have /home. Then there you will see the each user's personal space. Yeah, then we have etc configuration files वहाँ पे जो होती है. Then we have few like slash usr slash var slash opt. All roles have different systems tasks. Okay, all files have the different system stuff. Actually, I'll show here. So if you list out the for the list out, we are using the ls actually. So if you list out the all one, then you'll see the ssh profile. Let me see where I am. Yeah, in the Ubuntu. Let me go back. Yeah, here. Yeah, so here I'll type the ls-a. It means ls-a. It means list out the all directories, files, whatever it is in the your folder. It will list out the all things over here. Let enter. So you will see the bin, then boot, etc. As we discussed etc, we have folders which have the contains configuration files. Then we have all things is here. Then you can see the var and all things. So this is the architecture of the Linux, you can say, like structure of the Linux. So we will move the most technical part. अगर आपको कुछ directory create करनी है और if you want to create any files, then you can use below commands. So I'll tell you that what is the directory and what is the files. So in Windows we have folders. The same in Linux we have directories. Okay, so if you want to create any folder, then you can use the mkdir touch command for the any kind of file. Cat also you can use the read of the any kind of files. Okay, I'll tell you. Suppose I want to create a one folder in the Linux, not folder actually, that is the directory, but for the your perspective I'm just going in that way only. So if you want to create a folder, then we can use the mkdir slash folder name. I'll type the folder fun. That's it. Oops. Yeah, we need to go into the actually root में हमें जाना पड़ेगा, because here we have not the permission of root user. Sudo su करके हम sudo में root में आ गए. As you can see from the Ubuntu, now we are the root user. So we'll go with the command mkdir folder 1. Yep, now you can ls. You will see the folder 1 here should be the, yeah, folder 1. So now you can create anything here. Okay, so if I want to go into folder 1, then I'll type the cd folder 1. That's it. Now I am in the folder 1. You can see here. If you want to check where you are, then you can use the pwd, like present working directory. Then I'll click, then you will see the slash. It means you are in the home, then you are in the folder 1. So here you can see slash folder 1. It is then like absolute path. We'll move into that later. Okay, so that is the first thing. So if we made a one directory, if you want to make any file that is like txt file or any .sh file or any kind of files, you can use the touch command. Then I will make a file .txt. Yeah, now you can see the file.txt is here. So if you want to check any data is in that, or any kind of the data is present in that file, so you can use the cat to see the data file.txt. so here it means they have nothing. So if you want to add any data on it, so you can use the greater sign, then file.txt. then here you can type anything like, we'll type the something code. Let me do that first of all. Okay, so we have the file one .txt file here. So I want to add data cat greater than file txt. So now you can add any data here. Suppose मुझे डालना है कि welcome to the Infra Code Labs. Okay, so I enter the data and you just control C, it means cancel. Then if I'll check the file.txt is here. So if you want to read that data, you can use the file cat space file name. Yeah, you can see the data all here which is present in the our file. Okay, so that's it. And then we have, if you want to remove the file, then you can use the rm, then file name, which is the file1.txt we have, and enter. So if you see ls list out अगर हमने किया तो you can't see any file with the name of file1. Okay, so it's removed actually. So that thing we can use. So rm का जो हमने किया था, ये जो है हमने किया. So we'll मूवेबल सेक्शन 3 यूजर्स एंड परमिशन, जैसे घर में कोई मालिक और गेस्ट एक्चुअली. ओके, सो आई रोट इट डाउन बिकॉज आई वांट टू क्लियर विद द नॉर्मल वे. सो यूजर जो है टू टाइप के होते हैं एज आई सेड. रूट जो है एडमिन, नॉर्मल यूजर एंड सेफ वर्जन लाइक नॉर्मल वन है, उसको थोड़ी परमिशन कम रहेंगी एज कम्पेयर टू द रूट. रूट इज़ लाइक एडमिन यूजर, जो पूरे घर का मालिक जो है, यू कैन से that is the root, and normal user is like a tenant, so they have the limited access actually. So that is like only sudo you can use the, like for the, if you want to do any work with the admin credentials, you can use the sudo command to install any kind of that things. So ls-l, it means you can list out the directories, like directories count actually, like how many directories we have and all things. Okay, so that is the one. So if you have the any kind of the directory, if you want to see the permission, like जो मेरा फाइल है, अगर मुझे ओपन करके देखना है कि फाइल्स में किसको परमिशंस है किसको नहीं है, अगर कुछ ऐड करना है सूडो यूज़र से, तो आई कैन डू इट. सो आई विल टेल यू. मैंने एक फ़ाइल क्रिएट की, टच infra .txt. नाउ यू कैन सी द infra.txt. मुझे अभी चेक करना है कि इसको परमिशंस कौन से. सो यू कैन सी हियर first dash, it denotes to actually just mention in your notebook actually, this is the main point. So first that it denotes this is the directory or file. If it comes to the dash, then it is the file. Okay, so in read and write, that is the for the user. Okay, so read, write, and we have actually 3 permissions. You can see here: read, write, and execute. Okay, so let me check where it is. Okay, so these first 3, like after the your file name or file your text file notation, you can say the dash one is the file notation actually. So after that we have 3 dots: read, write, and the dash. So read, write, and dash is going to the owner permission. Then we have 3 dash, that is a read only actually, that is for the group. And the last one 3 dot we have for the others. Like if we want to here you can say, if you want to give the permission to the owner, then you can owner or other users, or like if you want to give the all permissions to all users, then you can use the chmod, then infra.txt and 777 sorry 777. Then we can use the infra. So here you can see ls-l, read, write, execute की जो permission है सबको apply हो चुकी है. So that is the reason, like I'll tell you the 77 why we are using and all things in the next lecture. So today's we are ending here actually guys, because पूरा थोड़ा heavy हो जाएगा. So how to make an directory, how to make an file, how to make an all things, you just go to the focus on it. So next और कल हम देखेंगे कि like in the brief why we are creating, how we can assign, how we can use the permission, all things we will discuss in the next lecture. So for the today, bye bye, take care.